motorcycles feel cramped when you sit on them? Do your footsteps send people scattering like in a kaiju movie? Is your wardrobe dominated by stretchy waistbands? Well, chances are you're one of the bigger folks on the road, and that's completely fine. No shame at all. The mighty Valentino Rossi, patron of motorcycling, created riders of all builds, so let's honor his divine engineering. Because riding should be for everyone, today we're diving into 7 motorcycles that larger riders can truly feel at home on. 1. Honda CRF 300L, lightweight dual sport that makes room for you. If you're a taller or broader rider, hopping onto most beginner bikes can feel like cramming into a child's desk. That's where the Honda CRF 300L comes in. A forgiving, tall, and surprisingly capable dual sport that offers more legroom, flexibility, and comfort than most bikes in its weight class. The CRF 300L features a lofty 34.7-inch seat height, wide handlebars, and a long flat seat that allows you to adjust your position on the go. These traits make it a fantastic fit for bigger riders who feel cramped on low-slung street bikes. Despite its tall stature, the bike remains incredibly manageable thanks to its low weight, just over 300 pounds, narrow chassis, and balanced power delivery. Its 286 cc single-cylinder engine offers roughly 27 horsepower. Not a rocket, but more than enough to handle city commutes, back roads, and even mild off-road trails with confidence. What makes it so appealing for heavier or taller beginners is that it's light enough to inspire control, yet roomy enough to avoid discomfort over long rides. The riding triangle is especially well suited to larger frames. The low-mounted foot pegs, broad bar sweep, and upright geometry create an ergonomic package that won't have your knees jammed against the tank or your back hunched forward. Whether you're 6.2 or pushing 250 plus pounds, the CRF 300L lets you ride without contortion. If you're planning longer distances, Honda also offers the CRF 300L Rally-R version. This variant adds a larger fuel tank, a windscreen, extra bodywork, and minor comfort upgrades that help transform it into a lightweight adventure companion. While it still retains the approachable nature of the base model, it feels more like a go-anywhere bike built for the road ahead. It's worth noting that the suspension might need attention if you're a heavier rider. Most bikes, including this one, are sprung for an average rider weight of around 160 to 180 pounds. 2. Suzuki Hayabusa, the high-speed throne for big riders. There's fast, and then there's Hayabusa Fast KTM. But speed isn't the only reason larger riders flock to the Suzuki Hayabusa. This machine has earned cult status not just for its power, but for its spacious, welcoming ergonomics that make it one of the most accommodating sport bikes ever produced. While most high-performance motorcycles are built for riders who weigh as much as a backpack and stand under 519, the Hayabusa bucks the trend. Its long, low, and wide chassis offers a surprisingly relaxed riding triangle. The handlebars are positioned to prevent excessive forward lean, the seat is plush and expansive, and the foot pegs sit in a spot that won't fold your knees into your chest. For bigger riders, it feels less like you're crouching on a machine and more like you're seated in a cockpit. The engine is the stuff of legends, a 1340cc inline-4 that produces a tsunami of torque and a smooth wave of acceleration in any gear. While the Hayabusa's performance reputation may be intimidating, it's surprisingly docile when ridden conservatively. The power delivery is predictable, and the weight gives it a planted, stable feel, especially appreciated by heavier riders who want confidence at speed. What truly separates the Hayabusa from other sport bikes is how well it balances power and comfort. Whether you're doing long interstate rides, short canyon bursts, or even the occasional commute, the bike feels composed and roomy. The wind protection from the large fairing and windscreen also helps reduce rider fatigue, a bonus when your frame catches more air than average. Over the years, Suzuki has refined the Hayabusa with subtle ergonomic improvements and tech upgrades. The newest generation features ride modes, cruise control, traction systems, and a suite of electronic assists that help manage the bike's immense capabilities. But even earlier models offer a level of comfort and space that most sport bikes can't touch. One of the hidden benefits for bigger riders is the bike's sheer presence. 3. Harley-Davidson Touring, the gold standard for bigger bikers. When it comes to motorcycles that feel tailor-made for larger riders, Harley-Davidson's touring lineup doesn't just fit the bill, it defines it. For decades, these machines have catered to riders who want room to breathe, the ability to stretch out, and a throne-like seat that makes every mile feel like a cruise. Models like the Road Glide and Street Glide are staples in the big bike world. They offer expansive, cushioned saddles, relaxed cruiser ergonomics, and wide swept-back handlebars that encourage an upright, commanding posture. Floorboards instead of foot pegs give your feet space to move around, and forward controls help taller riders fully extend their legs without cramping up. Whether you're 6'4" or well into the 300-pound range, a Harley Tourer makes you feel like you're exactly the right size for the ride. The heart of every Harley touring bike is its iconic V-twin engine. These power plants are tuned for torque, delivering strong, low-end pull that moves heavy riders and heavy bikes with ease. Unlike high-revving sport bikes, a Harley rumbles with confidence from just above idle, making it easier to launch from a stop and maintain a steady pace without constantly shifting gears. For larger riders, this means you don't need to fight the bike. It simply does the work for you. Comfort is king on these machines. Tall windshields and full front fairings provide excellent wind protection, while the massive saddlebags and optional top cases let you carry everything from rain gear to camping supplies. Some models even offer lumbar support and heated grips. And if you plan on riding two up, Harley's touring models are among the best in the world at handling extra weight without compromise. What also makes Harley unique in this space is the scale one of everything. From the tank to the wheels, everything feels solid, spacious, and deliberately oversized. You never feel like you're crowding the bike or overwhelming it. 4. Ducati Diavel and X Diavel, Italian muscle with room to stretch. Not every big rider dreams of chrome and V-twins. Some crave style, speed, and precision, but still need a motorcycle that doesn't fold them up like a lawn chair. That's where Ducati's Diavel and X Diavel come in. These are not your typical cruisers, nor your average sport bikes. They're muscular, exotic machines that offer comfort without compromising performance. And they're tailor-made for riders who want space and spice. Let's start with the tiny Devil on. From the moment you throw a leg over it, you realize it's no ordinary Ducati. The tank is wide, the seat is low but spacious, and the handlebars are flat and slightly forward, giving it a neutral, commanding position. Despite its aggressive appearance, the riding triangle is surprisingly relaxed, with mid-mount pegs that allow for a natural leg bend, even for riders well above 6 feet tall. Earlier versions of the Diavel were powered by the Testa Stretta 11 Surin L twin engine, while the latest iterations have adopted Ducati's cutting-edge Tana V4 Gran Turismo power plant. With up to 168 horsepower and 93 lb-ft of torque, the Diavel delivers blistering acceleration, yet remains manageable thanks to rider modes, traction control, and Ducati's comprehensive electronics package. The weight is centralized and low, giving the bike excellent stability even for heavier riders. If you're looking for something even more laid back, the X Diavel shifts the formula. It features forward controls, a longer rake, a belt final drive instead of Ducati's traditional chain, and a stretched-out profile that leans more into American cruiser ergonomics, while retaining unmistakably Italian flair. The seat is low and wide, the bars are easy to reach, and the overall footprint accommodates long legs and broad shoulders with ease. Unlike traditional cruisers, though, both Diavel models offer Kirin superbike-grade brakes and suspension. 5. Kawasaki Versys 650 Midweight Versatility with XL Comfort. For many big riders, adventure and sport touring bikes hit the sweet spot. Upright ergonomics, tall seats, and long-distance comfort. But not everyone wants a 600-pound behemoth with a price tag to match. Enter the Kawasaki Versys 650, a mid-sized motorcycle that punches above its weight when it comes to comfort, capability, and fit for larger frames. At first glance, the Versys 650 looks like a mild-mannered commuter, but sit on it and you'll find a riding triangle that seems engineered for longer limbs. Kinchum, with a 33.3-inch seat height, upright bars, and relaxed peg placement, The bike gives tall or broad riders room to breathe without forcing them into awkward angles. You're not hunched over the tank or squatting on folded legs. Instead, you sit high, open, and in control. The engine is a 649cc parallel twin, producing around 67 horsepower. It's not intimidating, but it's more than enough to handle highways, back roads, and weekend getaways, even with a heavier rider or luggage on board. The power delivery is smooth, with a predictable throttle response that helps new and intermediate riders feel at ease. For bigger riders who don't need race bike power, this is a great blend of usability and fun. One of the most appreciated features on the Versys 650 is its suspension setup. With longer travel front and rear, it soaks up road imperfections better than most bikes in its class, a blessing for larger riders who may add extra load to the system. While it's not a full-fledged ADV bike, it offers enough forgiveness to make bumpy roads or long stretches comfortable, even if you're putting extra pounds on the shock. The upright riding position isn't just about comfort, it's also about visibility. Bigger riders sit tall naturally, and the Versys supports that with a commanding perch. Whether you're commuting in traffic or cruising on open roads, you get a wide field of view and a comfortable body angle that reduces fatigue over time. 6. Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE, classic style, serious space. At first glance, the Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE looks like something out of a vintage motorcycle ad. All minimalist design, round headlamp, and high-mounted exhaust. But don't let the retro vibe fool you. This machine is a modern, high-spec scrambler built with real off-road chops, high-end components, and generous room for larger riders. One of the most notable features for big-bodied bikers is the sheer size of the bike. The Scrambler 1200 XE has a your-tall 34.25-inch seat height, long travel suspension, and a wide, flat, bench-style seat that lets you move around freely. The ergonomics are incredibly neutral. Upright handlebars, mid-set foot pegs, and a commanding stance that works equally well seated or standing. Whether you're over 6 feet tall or just need extra breathing room, this Triumph delivers. At the heart of the XE is Triumph's 1200 cc parallel twin engine, tuned for a smooth, torquey ride. It produces around 489 horsepower and 81 lb-ft of torque, and its delivery is calm, predictable, and strong from low in the rev range. That makes it easy to manage for heavier riders. You get grunt when you need it without needing to wring the throttle. It's as comfortable crawling through trails as it is cruising down twisty back roads. The suspension setup is one of the most capable in its class. The fully adjustable long-travel Marzocchi fork and Öhlins twin shocks in the rear were designed to handle punishment. For riders carrying more weight, this is a blessing. The suspension doesn't collapse or wallow, and the adjustability makes it easy to dial in a ride quality that matches your build. Whether on pavement or dirt, the XE feels stable and composed, not overwhelmed. And while many retro-style bikes sacrifice function for form, the Scrambler 1200 XE bucks that trend. It includes Brembo M50 radial brakes, a large TFT display, multiple ride modes, cornering ABS, and switchable traction control. 7. Honda CBR 500R, a sport bike that actually fits bigger bodies. When most people think beginner sport bike, they picture something tiny, twitchy, and better suited to a high schooler than a full-grown adult. That's where the Honda CBR 500R breaks the mold. It manages to deliver real sport bike looks and performance while offering a frame that doesn't punish larger riders. So, unlike most entry-level machines in this category, like the Yamaha R3 or Kawasaki Ninja 400, the CBR 500R is built on a larger, more stable chassis. The seat height is a manageable 31.1 inches. But what matters most is how the bike's layout distributes rider weight and legroom. The foot pegs aren't excessively high, and the clip-on style handlebars sit higher than you'd expect, creating a slightly leaned forward but not extreme position. For taller riders, that means less pressure on the knees, less weight on the wrists, and more room to move. Weighing in around 420 pounds, the CBR 500R has real presence. While that's considered heavy in the lightweight sport bike segment, it's actually a benefit for bigger riders. The added mass provides better balance and stability at speed, and it doesn't feel like you're overpowering the machine just by sitting on it. Power comes from a 401cc parallel twin engine, producing around 50 horsepower. That may not sound earth-shattering, but it's more than enough for highway speeds, weekend canyon carving, and everyday commuting. The engine delivers a smooth, linear throttle response, making it easy to control and confidence-inspiring, especially for newer riders who happen to be larger than average. Another point in the CBR's favor, the kitty. The seat could design odds. It's wider and more padded than what you'll find on other small sport bikes, which is a godsend for broader riders who need extra support. Combined with a slightly longer wheelbase and more open ergonomics, the CBR 500R gives the impression of a middleweight rather than an entry-level motorcycle. It's a bike you can grow with and fit on for years.